All right, today in the Koala game, we're going to be taking a look at creating the mazes that your koala is going to be running around in. Where we left it last time is I think I did left in the begin step in the koala. And we're not going to wait for the koala to collide with the wall. We're going to check to see if he can move there, and then move if it's open. So we're not really using a collision event at this point, anyway. Now you should have done the right up and down arrows already if you're going to be up with me. So I've done the left, but I haven't done right, up, or down. That's up to you to do. But I do want to talk about creating a level. Now if we look at our first room, it kind of looks like this. Let me just get this out of the way. So there's our room. And of course, doing this game, you want the game to be pretty polished and looking nice. So what we have available to us is a tile set. And it's considered a background, so we're going to create that tile set here. You say create background, and I would say, let's go find it. It's in the shared folders, Koala, resources. Wall tiles. Okay. So these are the different parts of the maze walls that we're going to be using in our game. It's really important to click there, use this tile set. We're going to set the tile width to 40 by 40. I think it's 40. Yeah, it looks right. So load the background. Make sure you click on use as tile set, and then set the tile width and height to 40. Okay. Now it comes time to, how do you get these tiles into the actual room? Well, we go to background. No, actually we'll go here, tiles. Which background do we want to use? This one. There's our tile set. And what we want to do is add these tile sets, or these individual tiles, so it makes sense on the map. So here's like a plus sign thing. So we'll get this end cap, maybe put it there, and then up and down one. And then you have one that has 4 intersections, or an intersection one. And then you have a down one. But the problem is you can't see it. The only way you can see it is by making the walls invisible. And you go to the room. Well, even that didn't work. Maybe if I save it. No. So we just can't see what we're trying to see. Really, you can think of these tiles as being painted on the floor, because it's really not a wall. But the walls are going to be invisible when we start the game. So how might we see it? Yeah, if I just go to object mode and I just right click, you can see on our floor then we've got the start of our walls. But the problem is, if you do it this way, you can't quite see it. So a way you can do this so that you can see through the wall is to go to the wall sprite itself here, and we're going to say edit sprite. Once we're in edit sprite, we can set the opacity of the wall. Now opaque means you can't see through it, but we want to make it so you can actually see through the wall, so you can see the underlying thing. So it has a little slider here, and you can make it all the way white or all the way black. I'm going to set it here, so you can still see the wall is there, but you can also see through the wall to the thing that's painted on the floor. Okay? So somewhere around 62 sounds like a good number. Okay. So as soon as we do that then, We go back to our room, and now we can kind of see through the walls to what's painted on the floor. Now in the book it has a different way of doing this. I guess they didn't have the opacity setting before, but now it becomes a lot easier. So here, if you look, there's 16 different blocks here. Each one, there's a corner, 4 corner blocks, there's a vertical and horizontal line. Basically everything you would ever need to build walls with, there's a tile in here that matches that. So for example, this one is there, and now we can see what we're doing. Here's an end cap on the right. We'll use this one again. I'm just clicking here and then clicking over there. And then here, the end cap there. Here's a single one out by itself. So that would be there. And let's say the horizontal ones I want to do. These are kind of weird. Maybe I do that. And then I'll do all these too. Now in the Koala game, you want to leave the first line up on top, or the first row, empty, so we're going to put the actual top wall here. And typically these levels are completely enclosed by these kind of tiles. So I'll just finish this up. And there I'm just holding down the Shift key. And I'll get the corners in there. So it's starting to look like a professional room now. Now you lose points if you don't make your mazes look nice. You see people that perhaps turn it in like that, where the wall gets chopped off up at the top there. You really want to use an end cap there. So if you choose not to be very precise here, you'll lose points because it doesn't look nice. Okay, so here, other corner, there it is. Not that one. No. Here's another end cap. So now I've added tiles underneath each of the floor pieces. If I say go on the game, you see that we can still see the walls. We don't want that to actually show through. So, like I said earlier, you want to go in and actually make the walls invisible. So they're still there, they're just not visible, and the Koala will notice that there's a wall there. It's not going to notice there's a tile there because that's just painted onto the floor. That's not really a wall. So you have this invisible wall with this wall painted on the floor. That's the way I kind of look at it. Okay. So now if we run it, all we'll see is the painted walls on the floor. The real walls are there invisibly, and it will behave the same way. See how I stopped right there at the wall. Okay. So you'll know you've done it right when you have the tiles laid out and they match up with the individual walls. Any questions on how to set tiles into a room? All right, so that's the process.